Welcome to Train the Prophets. Leslie Johnson is an author, speaker, minister, and an ordained prophet.
Prophet Leslie calling the church to order. I'm going to continue talking about dreams. Now, are all dreams from God? And how do I know for sure whether these dreams are from God? And like I spoke to in the first session, like we have to understand parables, which equals to understanding dreams. If we start understanding parables, then we can start understanding dreams. Some dreams are demonic, and some dreams can have a sexual content to it even. And those are very demonic because then a husband could be having sex with not their wives, or the wives not their husband. And these are very demonic dreams. The enemy is coming in. It's like an attack all the while it's in your dreams, in your mind, in your thoughts. And so much so that somebody might even have what they would call a wet dream. And I'm not trying to be gross here. I'm just saying that these kinds of dreams they're not from the Lord. They're not what you would even want. So some dreams definitely are demonic. Now, first of all, why should we have dreams? Now, dreams can come from subconscious memory. Everything we see, we hear, every event we go to, even every TV show we watch or movie we watch, the good, the bad, the ugly, all of it. That's retained in the subconscious memory. So dreams don't necessarily come to us from the subconscious, but can be influenced by our subconscious. Does that make sense? Dreams don't necessarily come to us from the subconscious, but can be influenced by our subconscious from our activities that we've gone through just in life, through the day, through the month, whatever, here recently. Usually it's something more recent. So everything we see and hear, it comes into the subconscious, and then it can be influenced by those things that are subconscious when we're dreaming. Dreams are a form of spirit communication. Is it God's spirit communication, or is it evil spirit communication? We have to understand that not all dreams are from God, and not all dreams are from the devil, or some dreams are from the devil. Some are just from our own thoughts, like you say they have a pizza dream, or they're conjuring up things. So there are communications from the subconscious that are coming in, but you need to discern, is this from the Lord or is it not? Television, music, watch news all the time. That's going to influence your dreams, especially if you're watching that right before you go to sleep. Any media is spirit-driven, any kind of media, any kind of that. If you go to sleep, like for example, I go to sleep before my husband does, and sometimes he comes in and he's watching news or something like that. And there's been times I'll wake up and I'll say, oh, you got to turn that off, because it's absolutely bothering me as I go to sleep. And so I don't want to have some kind of lie dream coming to me, because my subconscious is retaining what I'm hearing. I don't want to be controlled that way. So the conscious and the subconscious, first let me start off here. The conscious mind is our logical mind. Okay, so repeat that. You can repeat after me. The conscious mind is my logical mind. And it receives information from my five senses, like my smell, my touch, my taste, my eyes. That's how it receives it. The logical mind. The conscious is the logical mind. And it's receiving information, again, from the five senses. It's where we think. It's where we rationalize. Logic that rules the day in the conscious mind most of the time. It's not the subconscious, it's ruling in the conscious, the things of what's going on at the moment. However, the conscious mind does not control our actions. Our actions are almost exclusively controlled by the subconscious mind. So just because the subconscious is our logical mind, we're going through it by day, we're walking out the steps, but our actions later on is almost exclusively controlled by the subconscious mind. And the mind is largely ruled by emotions and instinct. So we're letting our emotions rule us most of the time, which is part of the subconscious part of our bodies and our minds and our thought patterns. So it causes us to have different types of actions. It's not the controlled actions with the logical mind. It's controlled by the subconscious mind. The conscious mind job is to help us to meet whatever our urges are, whatever our needs are. The conscious mind is where we're wanting to know what kind of food we want at the moment. Are we thirsty? Are we safe? All those kinds of things. Those are the logical minds. You know, it is very powerful, that logical mind. But the subconscious mind is very powerful also. The conscious and the subconscious, they work together. And when the conscious and the subconscious are working in our lives, then that's going to determine what action we take. It can bring us success, it can bring us failure, it can bring us happiness, it can bring us anxiety, it can bring us frustration, it can bring us achievement, it can bring us happiness, it can bring us distress. You know, that's the actions that we're operating on with the conscious and the subconscious mind. And we use them together all the time. And it's all day long that we're using them. All day long when we go to the store, we're using our conscious, our logical mind. Yeah, this is what I need. But over there, that looks really good. Our subconscious going, no, you really want that piece of cake, right? So the subconscious is working also. You know, logically, for example, if you're about to ask somebody out on a date, you know, wow, that guy that he was, you know, he was asking for my number, so I bet he's going to call. And so the guy is going to call, and he's going to ask you out on a date, but he has a real fear of them saying no, because the subconscious is saying, you know, you're a loser. She doesn't want to date you. And all the while over here, the young woman is probably real excited that he's going to call and ask her out on the date. But the subconscious is saying, I'm not going to call because they're going to say no. So, or example, have you ever applied for a job and you're already thinking you're going to fail? The subconscious mind is at work. That's what's going on. So we have to realize we don't just always we don't always just think logically all the time. There's a lot of things subconsciously that we're reacting to when we need to start thinking about things logically. If we're not storing inside the subconscious mind that we're going to be successful, then actually it's almost practically impossible that we won't be successful. You know, we need to have those goals. We need to have inside of us that, yes, I'm going to make it. I'm going to be successful. You know, we can't just let fear run our lives. And then fear causes the subconscious mind to react and have our actions the wrong way because we're already defeated before we even start. Now, the thing that you want to do is that you use your conscious mind to shape your unconscious mind, because you want your conscious mind to override the unconscious mind. So it's not an easy process, and you have to work on this, but it can be done. You know, for every negative things you say to a child, I hear that you got to say, let's say you say a negative word to a child, you got to say, I don't know, 1,000 times more of how wonderful they are to get that inside their conscious mind. So don't let the unconscious mind or the fear of failure because of the words spoken over you in the past rule you. You override it by the conscious mind saying, no, I can do it. And it can be done. You just have to do it. You know, don't stay in that negative atmosphere. You know, where is your source of input coming from? Like, what are you hanging out with? Who are you hanging out with? And what is the temperature in the room that you're at? Or are you just watching negative news all the time? Are you listening to negative music all the time? You know, like the songs in the 70s or 80s, one or the other, was just like goodness gracious, when I go back and listen to some of that, I thought, man, there's a lot of sad stuff going on there. I mean, they must have been really sad people during those times. But I'm just saying that what kind of music are you listening to? What is that feeding into you? And again, are you just watching negative stuff all the time? If you're watching negative stuff all the time, then that's going to be the atmosphere you're in, and that's going to be the source of input that comes into your mind, and it's going to be there when you go to sleep, when you have the dreams. So, is it demonic that's coming to you? Are you spending time in the Word, or are you listening to all this negative stuff? In Ephesians 1, you can go there, you can read Ephesians 1:17 through 19, that we are supposed to get the Word, spend time in the Word. That's what we need to do. If we spend time in the Word, then we know we're going to have His wisdom, and we're going to have His revelation, and we're going to have knowledge of Him instead of this negativity going all around us. If you go to Ephesians 1:20 through 23, you can start reading about, man, I can be above all principality. I can have His power. I can have His might. I can have dominion. And that every knee that is named, not only at the world, but also that is which is to come. All these things. I know that Jesus Christ is the Lord. I know that all these things can come back in order. But again, are we spending time in the Word? Not just praise and worship music. I'm not talking about that. I mean actually in the Word, spending time with Him. Also spending time in the Word, because that's where you're going to get your answers. Everyone dreams. Everybody dreams. Some people say, no, I don't dream. No, everybody dreams. And usually everybody dreams 1 or 2 hours a night. Some people don't remember their dreams, and some people have to work at trying to remember the dreams. Some people have to set an alarm to wake up, say, oh, did I have a dream? Even animals dream. Remember, have you seen your dog or cat and like, they're running, they're chasing a rabbit or something, right? And man, they caught it. It has even the animals dream. So if the animals are dreaming, then yes, everyone is dreaming. Everybody. Because if you go to one of those places where they do the sleep testing, they're going to let you know, yeah, between such and such time you were having a dream. They can tell. So everybody dreams. Don't think that you don't. And work on trying to understand your dreams if you really want to hear from God. Dreams happen because we process the day, and also dreams are actually healing for our brain. Usually dream 4 to 6 times a night, actually. Most of us do. Between those 1 and 2 hours, we can have 4 to 6 dreams every night. However, we do forget most of the dreams of what we dream. The one that we remember the most is the one that we just had before we awake. And usually those are the ones that you can count on probably God just spoke to you, because He knows how we work, right? All right. Do we dream in color, or do we dream in black and white? That is a good question. I dream in color, and I guess some people can dream in black and white, but I think most people do dream in color if they'll just think about it a little bit. We might dream we're flying. We might dream we're jumping across the rooftops. We're being 007, running. And sometimes we could be running from someone, or running because something's chasing us. It's really terrifying. Or maybe we're, as a child, you might be dreaming, man, I'm going to be held back in school. Or I remember as a child that I showed up at school naked. I mean, that was a horrible dream. So, what was God trying to tell me? I don't know. Get dressed, Leslie. I don't know. But also, maybe you have a dream that's bothering you because your house was out of order, but it was all a mess. It was all in disarray. What He could be trying to tell you through that parable, through that dream, is that you need to get your house in order because it's in total disarray. I don't know. Some people, I had somebody tell me that they keep having a dream that their teeth are falling out. Some people have, especially kids in school, have a dream that they failed an exam. And then they said, I didn't even know I was supposed to take it. This dream was, was so scary because all of a sudden my teacher gives me the test and I didn't even know I was supposed to have this test, and they're all fearful. Well, what is God trying to tell them? Maybe he's trying to tell them they need to work on their studies habits. I don't know. I'm just guessing right now. But, some people have a dream about a clown and they don't like clowns, for example. There's so many things that we can have dreams about. But understand this, we all dream. And we dream about 1 to 2 hours every night, anywhere from 4 to 6 dreams a night. So important, again, to get up, type out that dream, notice the time. I title the dream, I type it out, and then I pray and I sit still for a while and ask for the interpretation of the dream, because, especially when you're first starting out getting these dreams, it's not going to be just black and white and understanding it all at once. You're going to have to take time to discern with the Lord what the Lord is saying to you, what the interpretation is. Don't give it to somebody else to interpret it. That's just being lazy, frankly. That's just being lazy. That's just a cop-out, and you're trying to get someone to spend time with God when you should be, because that's his communication to you. So don't just diss him and say, I don't want to spend time with you, Lord, to find out what this is really saying. Spend time on it. And if you don't understand it, put it on the shelf. Maybe it's a nothing dream, but maybe it'll come back to where you say, I need to bring that dream back down off the shelf, and I need to spend time because there's something about that dream that's supposed to be important for me. Again, most dreams are for you yourself, on things you need to change. For your household, for you, those are the kind of dreams that he's going to give you. Those are the most important dreams. Sometimes people, they don't recall anything. They might have a haziness of this dream going on and minor details the next morning. Again, some people, they don't think they dream at all, although it's been proven that they do. They just don't remember. And then some people do dream in black and white. But if you're getting these dreams that is kind of hazy to you, even the minor details, say, Lord, I need to have more understanding what you're trying to say to me. Again, don't just disregard dreams, because they're very important for all of us as Christians, because that is sometimes the most sincere and best way for the Lord to speak to us on our behalf and for us, is through these dreams. That's a communication. It's a communication, and he wants to spend time with you. A dream may seem very real, especially when we're having them, and then we wake, we go, that was a stupid dream. Anybody done that? I just did that the other night. I was like, man, that seems so real. I don't remember what it was now. That was so real. And then you wake and you're like, well, I can't decide if that was real or not, I remember a time when Stan was dreaming, my husband, next to me, and he hits me. He goes, and he sat up in bed, and he goes, was it a bow or an arrow? And I'm like, Stan, you're dreaming. Go back to sleep. No, I'm not. Was it a bow or an arrow? And I'm like, I could tell he's kind of agitated. I went, I don't know. An arrow? He goes, all right then. He lays back down, goes to sleep. He didn't remember that at all the next morning. But so sometimes dreams are kind of stupid. They're not really from God. But we all do have them. And we have to start distinguishing between dreams and reality, because sometimes at the moment they seem very real, and then we can become confused. Have you ever had a dream, even recently, that you're going, that was so real, and you wake up and you don't even really know where you are? Yeah, especially if you're traveling a lot. You get up and you start walking one way and you realize the bathroom's the other way because you're now at home and you thought you were in a hotel somewhere. I've had dreams like that because it seems so real. You need to have an understanding that God is wanting you to get the interpretation. And it might not be much information at all. And it might be not much information that you can even recall. But it's also a start. And you might get a little bit of information when you first start interpreting the dreams. And the more that you spend time with God, He's going to say, okay, I can trust you, Leslie. I'm going to give you more in that interpretation. I'm going to give you more of the dream. So don't just disregard the dreams. Now, most dreams do come from our own state of mind, so they're not always from the Lord, not always from God. Also, people that do a lot of gaming, they fight more in their dreams. And this has been a known fact. They have a lot of fighting going on in their games that they're playing. So in their dreams, obviously the subconscious is there, and they're going to start having a lot of fighting going on in their dreams at night. And they're not from the Lord. Also, pray before you go to sleep that you'll remember the dreams from the Lord. If this is important to you, if you want to have the communication from the Lord, if you want to say, Lord, I really reverence this time that you're trying to communicate with me, then pray. Plead the blood of Jesus over your mind before you go to sleep and say, I need to remember, help me to remember the dream that you're going to give me that's from you, Lord. I don't want to remember dreams that are from me. I don't want to remember the dreams that are from demonic spirits. I want to remember the dreams that are from you. So before you go to sleep, take a few moments and pray that He'll give you those dreams. Also, early on, I kept a pen and paper nearby, or my laptop that I could get up and start typing out real quick on what the dream was, because you're really tired, you're really sleepy, and it takes a sacrifice to get up and start typing out the dream. But the Lord He's testing you. Are you going to get up and spend time with me even though you're so sleepy? He's going to test us. Pass the test. Pass it. Again, plead the blood of Jesus over your mind and conscious and your subconscious and your subliminal areas and all the communication that's coming into you. All of it. When you awake, write down the time and everything that you can remember, even the date, even the smallest things of small detail. Maybe a color, or a cat was sitting there, or a dog was over here, or there's a boat, or there's water. Remember every little thing, all the small details. Don't make up stuff. Please don't make up stuff. But try to remember any kind of small detail that you can. Was it raining? Was it hazy? Was the sun shining? What was going on? You can set an alarm like a little bit earlier than you usually awake to see if this will help you to start recalling the dream. Because most of the time, the ones from God are right before you wake up. I have found out, or a lot of times maybe 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning. Delay a little bit before you just get up to think about your dreams. This is what I do specifically. I'll just lay there a little bit, process what that dream is. Is this from you, Lord? I'll ask questions. Is this from you, Lord? And if I really believe it is, I'll get up and start typing it out immediately. Also, work on getting the best sleep that you can. Try to get those 8 hours at night, because that's going to be the best thing for you. Some people say they need to avoid caffeine before they go to sleep. It doesn't bother me, but some people need to avoid caffeine. Some people they said they need to exercise more, and some people like to exercise right before they go to sleep. Not me. This I for sure do. Avoid eating prior to going to sleep. That's where the pizza dream comes in, because if you go to sleep with a lot of food in your body, then sometimes you will have what they call those pizza dreams or your flesh dreams. Sometimes people need to avoid electronics like TV, music that's going on in their room, because they can't hear the Lord that way sometimes. All right. Well, you got through this session. Well, it's time for a quote of the day. A word of truth that hurts for a while is better than a lie that lasts a lifetime. A word of truth that hurts for a while is better than a lie that lasts a lifetime. And I so much believe this quote. I would rather have a truthful word, even if it's going to hurt me for a little bit, even if it's going to hurt my feelings, even if it's going to hurt, make me cringe a little bit, but I get the truth. I'd rather have that than keep the lie and stay in the lie forever and stay in the lifetime. So hopefully that is all of us that are watching Train the Prophets. We'd rather have the truth, even if it hurts us for a little bit, than that lie that's going to last a lifetime. Accept the Lord as your Savior. He's the only one that can get us through these days ahead. He's the only one that is going to guide and direct you and help you to understand parables, help you to understand your dreams. He wants to spend time with you. And then click on like and share and subscribe. And if you'd like, donate by clicking on the link below. God bless you. Hope you're getting some information you need on dreams. This session on Order of the Church is closed.